All right, gentlemen and ladies, boys and girls, technologists of all ages, let's pay attention here. We are now going to see how do we install and work with Xampp Apache server on our fabulous Macintosh computers. So even though I have it, I'm going to go and reinstall it to show you the whole process. So you start up here, and you can just search for it in your preferred search engine. So we'll say xampp.org. And now I'm going for Macintosh in this case. So this morning we saw about Windows. Now we're doing it again for Macintosh. So you know what to do, right? I don't really need to tell you how much about installing an Apple thing. All right, now the download is complete. And so you know what to do, right? You have it down here in your downloads area of your browser. So let's double click on our DMG installer file. And it's mounting it, and it's standard, right? So just drag that to your applications folder. I guess it's their way of protecting you against viruses, so malware can't automatically install itself. And I already have it, so I'll just say replace. Let's see if we can run it now. So we'll press Command spacebar, get our spotlight going, and type Xampp. And double click on it. It's downloaded from the internet, good, so we'll say open. Won't be updated, fine, I'm just getting that because I had it before. Now here's where you need to start paying attention. Now this morning in the class I showed you how to do this on Windows. Here's the Macintosh process. So you click on Start, see what's my IP address, not stated currently. So Start, and now I go here to Services. I'll see there's my locally available IP address. Let's see what happens if I drop that into a browser right now. Chrome for right now. Chrome is nice too. So there's Chrome, so let's go and copy and paste our IP address in. So 192, right, so we'll say 192.168.64.3. Where did I get that from? Well, it came from the TCP/IP stack on the computer. I'm not going to talk about networking in this class, but I encourage you to go and pick up some networking courses on your own. So enter. And we saw this morning that's the home page which is being served up by Xampp on this computer. If I go to services, see it's already started all of these services for me. Now if you turn off your computer and then tomorrow you want to get this going again, you need to go to the services tab and at least start Apache. You don't really need MySQL. In fact, I'm going to stop it for now just to not tie up extra system resources. FTP, sometimes I do this in class, right? In the web development classes, I have the students FTP their assignments to my laptop, and I use this FTP server to give them a simulation of how you would actually do it at work. But we don't need it now, so stop it. And we saw, and I encourage you by yourself to go and examine the logs. Right, there's your networking information. Not going to get into that right now. Port forwarding is a thing we would talk about in the networking class. But at least once you click Start here, make sure your Apache service is started. And if you make a change to your configuration, you need to restart. Bring it down and back up again. Good. Now, how do we actually go and access this content so we can change what's showing on our page? And why we're getting dashboard there, that has to do with the configuration document. If I get a couple of students really interested and demanding to know, I'll cover it, but otherwise we have many other topics to cover. I will give you a hint that if you study the http d.conf configuration document, you can go and watch some nice YouTube videos on it as well. So now I'm going to go here, and my next step is I must click on volumes, and I must mount. You see? Macintosh Apple OS file system is based on the Unix file system, and that's what they do. That's options, opt, /, and there's the product directory Xampp, Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, and Perl. So let's say mount. Now what's mount going to do? You must understand this. It's not just enough to follow the instructions. You must have understanding of the instructions. So there's my Finder. Actually, no, it's not my Finder. That was my downloader. All right, let's do this again. So there's Finder. Now look here. See, I have something there called Xampp, and now I'm going to click Mount. Do you see that just showed up there? So that actually is how I get to my documents in the Macintosh way of living to work with my Xampp server. I showed you this morning. In Windows, we go to C:\Xampp, or whatever you chose to call your directory. Here you must do mount, right? You must go to volumes in your Xampp panel, and you must click mount, and that is going to make that directory, which is very hard to find. One thing I don't really like about Mac is they really hide the internals from you, which I don't agree with. I mean, you can still find them. You just have to do more work and get familiar with it. But now we go here in our Finder, and we see our IP address, 192.168 in my case, 64.3. So I click there in my LAMP directory, and now there is all of the stuff which I saw in the C/Xampp directory on Windows. And I hope if you remember the key important points, htdocs, that is where it's going to serve stuff up, right? In fact, I made a file before. I'm going to show you another file now, but with my fabulous Visual Studio Code, I made a little file there. So let's go here, and after my IP address, I'm going to say, because whatever is in that htdocs directory is going to get served up. So we'll say peanut1.html. Of course, if you try this at home on your own machine, it won't work because you have to make your own file. But see, and that's just like a little file there. Now, let's see, how do I make a web application? Because some of you gentlemen and ladies, for your project, you can make a mobile app, you can make a web app, right? You can do it that way. In fact, I'm going to extend the project because I made it a week before the end of class because I did not want to let you guys go to the last minute. But now I think everybody is starting and thinking about it. I just did that to kind of scare you a bit because a block course goes very quickly, but I'm going to extend it. The project is now due on the last day of term, and I'll put an announcement about that in the news forum. But no, you cannot have an extension because I have to get all the stuff marked and handed in. And starting tomorrow's class, right, today is Wednesday. So in tomorrow's class, which is June the 18th, we're going to start applying our fabulous JavaScript skills. Sorry, I just have to close something. We're going to start applying our fabulous JavaScript skills to some web applications, and then we'll do a little bit of mobile frameworks as well. So anyway, I'm going to go here, Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to get to that directory, right? Because I have to actually be able to manipulate code in this directory. So we'll say so here, that's my mount location, right? So I go into there, and then this is where all of my stuff is. So that's htdocs, and that is my file which I've been working on up till now. So I'm going to say select, right? I'm going to select this folder. Let's do add folder to workspace. That's probably a good way to do it. So once again, jump into there, and the folder I want. Whoops, I did not want that. I wanted this one. Just play with it. The good thing is to just play with it a bunch of times. So add folder to workspace, and I want my htdocs folder. Well, this is good enough. I'll just go into here. Again, you must play with it on your own computer and get familiar. Just do it a bunch of times. If you want, I can demonstrate in class. So there's htdocs, and there's my peanut1 file. And that is everything you pretty much need to know about Xampp. You don't need to know any more than that. But I am now going to go and show you something which you may choose to go and play around with. Tomorrow in class, we're going to work on this. So I'm going to show you the starter template for a JavaScript application, right? So let's go to my GitHub. You know where it is, I think. So you can go and access Form Validator, and you can go and access that file. Let's select that, and let's drop it into here. Now I could do it two ways, right? First of all, I should save it. Now I have my live server extension back. There's the guy who created it. One day I hope to see some of you guys putting nice extensions up there with, you know, 6 million downloads. And I'm going to go, those are my students. I taught them to do that. Now let's go back to our, see, there we have File Explorer, Finder, Git Repo, Debugger, and Marketplace extension. So I'm going to go to File Explorer, and I'm going to find Peanut again. Where did Peanut go? Sleeping under the bed, probably. That's what he usually does. And now I'll right-click. Now I can say Open with Live Server. So that's one way I can do it. And the other way I can do it, of course, is to just go back to my own Apache server. So here it hasn't updated because I have to reload it. So that is a couple of good lessons for you. It's how to use Xampp on Mac, and it's if you choose for your project, it is how to and we're going to talk about JavaScript in the browser tomorrow, but it's the starter of how you can start serving up your web project. Anyway, I'm going to post this now. Let me know if you have any questions.